Hello YouTube. As you can see here, I have jellyfish. My own very pet jellyfish. And that's why I haven't been doing any videos lately, is because I've been concentrating all my funds into keeping live jellyfish. These are moon jellyfish, or Aurelia aurita. They came from the Pacific Ocean, and they are warm water jellyfish, so they live in water temperatures from like 74 degrees to 77. But I bought them off Jellyfish Art, which is an excellent website that provides jellyfish food, jellyfish tanks, and everything you need to keep your own jellyfish. And they make it so it's extremely easy to keep it. So basically our setup is cylinder aquarium, acrylic. We have a bottom gravel filter here. There's gravel under these pebbles here, but you put pebbles on there to keep the jellyfish from scraping themselves on gravel. And it's got a bubble tube in the center and a filter right down there. So it's bubble filtration, so that your jellyfish don't get sucked up. The reason why it's cylinder or cylindrical is because if it was a square aquarium, they may get caught in a corner and may not be able to get out. That could be a problem for them because they could get stuck there and eventually deteriorate. So it's important to have a good round style aquarium. This is a relatively new style of a jellyfish aquarium. There's usually, the most common one is the creasel style. And that basically looks like a sideways washing machine, and it keeps the jellyfish in suspension with no rocks or decorations and nothing in the middle. And it just looks like a washing machine and spins them around in a slow current to keep them from hitting anything or getting stuck anywhere. So these are my little moon jellyfish guys. I bought frozen food with the package I got. So 6 months supply of frozen food. They basically eat brine shrimp. Anything sort of tiny shrimp, they'll eat that. And yeah, that's it. Another thing I got with my tank was, I got as an accessory, it's a remote control LED system, so you can change the light on the tank. And the jellyfish basically glow with whatever color you put on them. And it's got the basic red, blue, and green. And then as you can see, it's got complicated colors like oranges and yellows, turquoises, purples, and pinks, and all that sort. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I went ahead and got that. I also got like fade and strobe. That's a good test as the strobe. You can really get a feel for the different variety of color that it gives. So put it on strobe there. And you can adjust the brightness up or down, turn it off or on. And that's fantastic, especially since this jellyfish tank is right next to my bed. But yeah, and so as you're looking at these jellyfish, I'll go ahead and tell you an interesting story that happened with my poor jellyfish. It's been extremely cold and wet and snowy down here in the south. And we just got a large amount of snow, and then we got an ice storm on top of that, so the snow was under this thick layer of ice, and all the roads were frozen. I ordered my jellyfish a couple weeks before, and they are out of stock, so they just got restocked and shipped out my jellyfish, and then this whole storm happened. So they were stuck at the airport in close to where I live for a whole day extra than they should be. They have 1 day shipping, and they were a day late. So they really should have died. I opened up the bag, and the hermit crabs and snail I had to come with this tank were dead, but the jellyfish were not. They were almost like in a coma because the water was about 50 degrees, and they were totally unmoving. I had to acclimate them for an hour and a half before they started moving properly again. And they've really started to regain action now that they're in warm water and they've had food and air and oxygen and all that. Yeah. Another cool aquarium that I thought I was going to get, but it was way too expensive, was the Jellyquariums. Jellyquarium or Creasel style. And those are pretty cool. They're really big. This one's a bit smaller, but yeah. And this one's a plus because they have warm water jellies, and I think I like warm water better. But one of the reasons why people don't want to start a jellyfish aquarium is because they assume that salt water is harder to keep than fresh water. Well, that's not true in this instance, because these jellyfish and jellyfish tanks are much easier to keep than a regular saltwater aquarium. You don't need a CO2 diffuser or a calcium reactor to keep your live rock. I got a little live rock down there, so biological filtration, but you don't have any advanced corals or fishes like clownfish or any of that. You just have these jellyfish which need a simple filter and food once a day. So yeah, that's basically it. I think I'm going to try and breed these guys because that would be interesting. Their life cycle and breeding cycle is extremely complicated, but basically what they do is they breed in the tank and kind of give birth to these little balls, which are about the size of specks. So you won't be able to see them in the tank. But they're little balls of cells shoot around with cilia on the side of them until they find a good place to root on. So some are on the side of the tank, like the heater, the acrylic wall, maybe the pebbles. And it forms a little anemone-like creature. And this is called a jellyfish polyp. And these polyps sit here for as long as they feel like, usually over the winter, so you could turn the heat up and kind of synthetically give them the idea that winter is past. And as soon as that happens, these little polyps, which look kind of like anemone, with even little stringy tentacles, they start to form these little discs on them, about 12 discs, and they have these little pulsing arms. They look kind of like a pinwheel disc. And these pulsing arms, or discs, begin to pulse onto the polyp, about 12 of them, and then they pulse off of the polyp and swim into the tank. And they're really tiny. I mean, they're visible, but still pretty tiny. And these are called Phyra, or Medusa, and the basic starting point to jellyfish. Their little arms connect and form the bell when they get older. And that's how the jellyfish cycle goes. Here's my tiniest little guy. These little arms. Yeah, this thing's really cool. I would definitely recommend getting some of these as a pet. Although they are quite expensive. But affordable, in most cases. But anyway, that wraps it up. So, see you next time.